a world unfolds. For Rob McCall, it was a world full of laughter and a life filled with love.
Rob was a real funny character. He was real gregarious, outgoing, well-liked by so many people. He was real human, approachable, a real artist, an entertainer.
Rob McCall was born to perform. His path in life found its fateful fork at the age of 12 when he discovered figure skating, and a special child grew exceptional. With partner Marie McNeil, he captured a national championship and the attention of the figure skating community. When McNeil retired, Rob went cheek to cheek with Tracy Wilson, and after 7 Canadian titles, a timeless union was cast in bronze.
I met him, and we went on the ice to skate, and I was kind of in awe of the whole thing. And I remember, because he's, the man always skates behind the girl, and I remember I kept looking back, and I had to do a double take because I was really skating with Rob McCall.
Inseparable though dancers may seem, Wilson and McCall always made room for Brian Orser.
A lot of people say that Rob was very lucky, but we were very lucky because he touched our lives, mine, Tracy's, and anybody who was fortunate enough to know him really fed off of him because he had so much to offer, and just his energy was so incredible.
Incredible, but not invincible. The spotlight would fade, and his journey continued to a place where dreams never die and friends never forget. On November 15th, 1991, Rob McCall walked into the light, leaving behind a battle against insurmountable odds. There were dreams that were unfulfilled, dances incomplete, and symphonies unfinished. He left us, and he left us far too soon. But through the adversity, Rob McCall embraced a dream that someday, somehow, this disease that had stolen his life would be beaten. Tonight, his dream takes flight as a once-in-a-lifetime ensemble of friends pays tribute to a skating legend. They are performers who at one time or another have graced world-class podiums, and they have come here to the Varsity Arena in Toronto to skate the dream. One front united against AIDS. Also joining us tonight, our own Debbie Wilkes, and she is backstage in a very special place.
This is Rob's room, a place created for Rob to come home to. And just as the skaters are bringing back some of their memories of Rob, family and friends are bringing back some of his personal possessions, items he's willed to them, items of immeasurable sentimental value. This is a room full of stories. Some of them will twig a memory, some will even inspire a smile. Rob's frog collection is here. And so is his full-length fur coat. This is the one Brian Orser told him not to buy because he'd never wear it. He bought it anyway and never wore it. His Olympic free dance costume has made its way around the world and back to this locker. And there are countless photos. A treasured picture of dance legend Ginger Rogers graces the walls once again. And Bobby's mother, Evelyn, has brought drawings that Bob did just prior to his death. These too, a testament to his passion for beauty and art. This is the place where the skaters can wait backstage before they perform. Here they can touch Bobby once again, bringing back some of the magic of his presence, even if it's just for one night, especially this night.
As Rob McCall's legacy comes to life tonight, you're going to travel on a journey to times gone by, good times and sad times too, times of laughter and joy and times of tears and sorrow. But most of all, you will savor the values of life and love. And I promise you, tonight, you will make a friend that you will never forget. Canadians probably remember Rob McCall best from the 1988 Olympic Games when he and partner Tracy Wilson skated to a bronze medal. In the free skate, the duo executed hundreds of steps with seemingly effortless ease. Sports psychologist Dr. Peter Jensen recalls the moment just before the pair were to hit the ice on that fateful Tuesday evening.
Well, at Calgary, just before they skated, you may remember the number they did was a high-paced ragtime piece. And it had, I forget, over 3,000 synchronized movements, and they had to do it in 4 minutes and 12 seconds. And so we used to get together and talk about what we called mood words. What was the mood of this dance? And they would try and find words that really captured the way the dance felt. But we also added elements around time. And I remember Tracy saying, you know, I'm going to act like I have all the time in the world. But I remember Rob vividly saying, I've trained for so many years for this moment. I'm going to make it last forever. I want to stay out there forever. And I think the moment has lasted forever, certainly in the hearts of Canadians.
It wasn't gold, but it was an unprecedented victory, and one that Canada embraced. Wilson and McCall had danced their way into the history books and into the hearts of people everywhere they went. The two shared an affection for skating and a small child's wonder at the world it opened up for them. Among the treasures that Tracy holds close is day 11 of the Winter Olympic Games of Calgary. And though her head tells her that Rob is gone, in her heart, the dance will never end.
When I first met Rob, I couldn't believe I was skating with him. I was in my first year seniors when I met him, and my partner Mark Stokes and I came 6th in Canada, and Rob with his partner Marie McNeil won the Canadian Championships. And that was the first time I'd really met him. And then when I was actually skating with him, I remember it was quite rushed. I was at the rink, I met him, and we went on the ice to skate, and I was kind of in awe of the whole thing. And I remember, because the man always skates behind the girl, and I remember I kept looking back, and I had to do a double take because I was really skating with Rob McCall. I feel that Rob really just was beginning to tap his skills as a choreographer. He had so much good stuff within him, but I remember when we were skating together, I mean, half the time he would just go out and start skating, and I would say, "Oh, Rob, that was a great step." And he'd go, "What step?" And I'd say, "This one." And he'd say, "Oh, how did I do that?" And I would teach it back to him because he was just, it was so natural. So he was really just starting to actually get past just the natural feeling of choreography and getting into the actual intellectual side of it, which was how to create a program and what it took and the stages and development of a program. So I really think that, yeah, the skating world and a lot of skaters, I think, are going to miss the benefits of Rob McCall. On the ice, we would actually start sometimes getting into little battles because, you know, we'd go and we'd do a run-through of our program, say the 4-minute program, and it physically takes a lot out of you. And I'd look at Rob and I'd think, you know, he's looking really tired. I'll bet you he was out late last night or something. And I'd look at him and I'd say, you know, let's do that again. And we'd do it again, and then he knew, because he knew what I was doing the first time, he'd look at me and say, yeah, let's do it again. You know, and it would be kind of a back and forth. So he could be like that, full speed ahead, just non-stop, go, go, go. And then his other favorite thing was sitting, you know, in the hotel, ordering room service and turning on the nature channels and just lying in bed for the day and watching all the nature channels or reading a good book or whatever. So, yeah, he really lived his life to the fullest, I have to say that. And but I still think he's like reached 50% of his potential. I don't think he had any regrets. I think when I talked to him a little bit in the hospital, I think he felt sad that some of the things that he realized were so important to him, friends, family, and those relationships, I think he felt that it was too bad that he didn't realize them when he was younger. But other than that, I think that and I think he probably even surprised himself at how well he did.
With 7 national titles, 3 world championship medals, and an Olympic bronze medal to their credit, it's funny to think that it mattered little to Wilson and McCall where they finished, but to know that they did their best to perfect their craft. Life, they say, imitates art, and though Rob McCall's life finished differently than he once might have hoped for, perhaps in the end it mattered more to his family, to his friends, and to his fans that there was nothing better than the best of McCall. No one could argue that Rob McCall was well loved. He made his family his friends, and he made his friends his family. These friends have traveled a long road to get here tonight, but for many of them, the greatest journey of all will be the one back in time to the stories and the events left long ago. After all, there are 2 decades of skating history represented here tonight. Skating legends, virtual ghosts of Olympics past, have all returned to center stage, center ice, to honor an unforgettable friend and a time in life they all cherish.
Without Rob, there's a lot less laughter amongst the skating world. Rob, throughout all the tours that we did, all the competitions, no matter what type of event we were at, Rob kept everybody laughing. Whether we were on a bus, whether we were at a party, whether we were practicing at a rink, he just had that very, very special talent to keep everybody laughing, and he carried that onto the ice. He really was a very special performer on and off the ice.
He was the kind of person who, without him now, there's a human element missing. He was the type of person who always seemed to be able to make you put everything in perspective. Like, if you can't laugh at yourself, then you're taking this whole business far too seriously, and I think that's an element that a lot of us are going to miss.
Lonely riverside, good friends. I don't necessarily think that I'm one of the people that if he ever had a problem, I'd be the first one to call, but it was always very easy. As I said, we were on tour. We were always partners. Whenever we played cards, it was always Bill Fauver and Brian Orser against Rob and I. And on travel days, Rob would, tend to stray a little bit off the training path, and a couple of buddies Caesars, and he was playing great cards. So those are my fondest memories. We were always good friends, but early on we were, we got to know each other, but really as professionals. When he and Tracy Turner-Carlin came on the tour, that's when we really got to spend a lot of time getting to know one another.
I go out walking after midnight, out in the starlight, just like we used to do. I'm always walking after midnight, searching for you. I walk for miles along the highway, well, that's just my way of saying I love you. I'm always walking after midnight, searching for you. I stop to see a weeping willow crying on his pillow. Maybe he's crying for me. And as the skies turn gloomy, night winds whisper to me, I'm lonesome as I can be. I go out walking after midnight, out in the moonlight, just hoping you may be somewhere walking after midnight, searching for me. I can tell by the way you've been turning men down, not your ordinary guy is gonna do. You've been waiting for that someone who can turn your head around. Well, now, honey, I'm that special one to you. Yeah, there may be a million fish out in that ocean. She must find the one that's right for you somehow. But it's up to you. I'm carefree years till the nighttime disappears. I'm Mr. Right, oh, Mr. Right now. If you choose to be my wife, I would love you all my life. I'd do everything your precious heart allows. We could make love all night long. In the morning, I'd be gone. I'm Mr. Ryan, oh, Mr. Right now. Yeah, there may be a million fish out in that ocean. You must find the one that's right for you somehow. Well, it's up to you. I'm here for years till the nighttime disappears. Mr. Right, oh, Mr. Right now. I'm Mr. Right forever, just until whenever. Mr. Ryan, oh, Mr. Right now.
The way I want to remember Bob McCall is not to feel as though he was cut short, but to remember the great things that did happen. let's focus on those things. The Olympics, when he did skate as a professional with Tracy Wilson, the times he's choreographed with Kitty and I have a very fond memory. I don't have a memory of, oh my God, poor, because I think Bobby, if he's listening or whatever, would want it this way. He would not want people grieving and feeling badly. This Skate the Dream is a night that is just going to be very special because we're all getting together to do what we love to do, and what we love to do is what he loved to do, and that is skate.
He just felt the music. When he was making up a step, you really had to pay attention because he just did it to the music, and he probably wouldn't do the same thing twice because he did it from his heart, and it wasn't at all faked or anything. It was all 100% true, and an audience reads that, and they really feel it, and they share it.
No complaints and no regrets. I still believe in chasing dreams and placing bets. But I have learned that all you give is all you get. So give it all you've got. For there's no yes in yesterday, and who knows what tomorrow brings or takes away. As long as I'm still in the game, I want to play for laughs, for life, for love. So here's to life, and every joy it brings. Here's to life, for dreamers and their dreams. May all your storms be weathered, and all that's good get better. Here's to life. Here's to love. Here's to you. May all your storms be weathered, and all that's good get better. Here's to life. Here's to love. Here's to you.
skater here has 1 ounce of nervousness because we're not really skating for ourselves or worried so much about how we're going to look, because the motivation behind our performances goes far beyond the self. It even goes, for me, far beyond Robert McCall, because I feel that what the skaters are doing is skating for people that have become infected with AIDS, anybody in the world that has this disease, and also for the awareness, public awareness of AIDS, and with the money that's made, which I've heard is like $500,000, that it's for, trying to find a cure.
International glory is a long one. Thousands of days and hours are spent for a mere glimpse of victory. Despite the stress and pressure, or maybe because of it, the international arena became a birthplace for great friendships. These were friendships that overcame the many political battles, both on and off the ice. The Iron Curtain and political differences among competing teams was something that was part of Rob's reality. But he was someone who loved his art, someone who loved humankind, and someone who always found a way to make the Soviets laugh.
I did never see him like he was very serious. He always laughing. It's great because talking with him is very easy and very friendly. I never forget how he was very easy for everybody, for Russians, for Germans, for Americans, for Japanese, always.
A couple years ago, we had competition in Moscow. It was professional NutriSweet competition. And Rob and Tracy and Brian Orser and a few people come to my apartments in Moscow, and we had party. We had all night. We had laughing and talking, and my dog go around the guests, and I and my husband, we was really happy to have everyone there. And I remember, like, we seated like this, and Tracy said, "Oh, I know that Rob like this evening." He said, "Yeah, that's my favorite. I'm party man." And he always said that when you come in Toronto again, we will sit like this and we will talk like this. And I remember, like, today, his words about this, and he came in Toronto, but without him.
like any family, to lose a member is a painful and traumatic ordeal. Unless you have been part of this pain, you might find it difficult to relate to this kind of tragedy. I know the sadness, and I know the loss, because Bobby was a friend of mine, too. For me, now AIDS has a face.
This disease is affecting the world, mankind. It doesn't have any kind of discrimination. It just goes for anything that's alive.
To see Rob, who could go through program after program, who was physically stronger than any skater, to all of a sudden fight for each and every breath.
We are finding that there are friends, there are people that I actually know, of all race and color and gender and everything, that are affected. And it affects you personally, yes. You are in a position, and you have to be able to take a stand, and you have to be able to do something about it.
And I knew Rob wasn't well, and it really hurt inside to think that I wouldn't get to share in his genius. And basically, that was it. And so I'm really special. It's really important to me that we spent some time together on the ice before he couldn't do it anymore.
The people that can help the planet, can help humanity, their crime that they would commit in their lives is a crime of omission if they have the opportunity to help but elect not to help. Now, this is a great opportunity for all of us to help a little bit. We should do more of it.
It touches a lot of people and a lot of walks of life, and I think it's a very serious problem that we really need to embrace with our hearts and try to do something about it.
I think that if we have to identify with the disease, and this is a real plague, and I think for us to understand it, to be more aware of its implications, it's taking so many bright and wonderful people from us that we have to put a face to it. And what better face than could we put than Rob's face? Because he's so well liked by so many people.
Nothing so binding as a common cause, and that's evidenced by the people here tonight. Teamwork is nothing new to these skaters who have come here to be part of Rob McCall's dream. But Rob had a way of bringing people together long before he left this life. According to the skaters, he always had a joke for a discouraged peer. He was a brother. He was a leader. He always had advice for the unknown skaters who were trying to carve their own edge into the international skating scene. Calgary was no exception, and though he had his own goal to fight for, Rob never lost sight of the team, nor the members on it.
Rob was always somebody who you could, that I could talk to. It didn't matter that he was at the top of the dance group and I was going to be in the bottom. I was just one of the many friends and competitors that was there. And every year since then, when we went to competitions together, Canadians, and then eventually on the world team and Calgary at the Olympics, it was always, he was everybody's friend.
Yeah, he was always friendly, always had a way of looking after you. Even on tour, he and Brian Orsher would always make sure that, because I was the younger one, that I was looked after. If Doug wasn't around, or if somebody I knew, or Tracy wasn't around, just to make sure that I was okay. They were always concerned.
My baby, she left me. My baby, baby, she's gone. A sweet little angel. Spread our wings and flow. Think of a reason for going on. From this day, I will play the blues.
I got initiated by Rob at Skate Canada one time, and he got a bunch of people at Skate Canada decided that Kurt was going to be on the team now, so they, him and hoodlums, I'll call them, took off just about every stitch of my clothing. I think I had my watch on, threw me in the elevator at a very fancy hotel in Calgary and sent it down to the front lobby. So, I mean, when Rob did pass away, I cried, but I also laughed, because every time I thought of him, I thought of something that made me smile. I was angry, but it's a great memory now.
has its celebrated contests, so does life. Katrina Witt was an East German ice queen who found solace in her skating and shelter in the friends she found there. Brian Boitano was one such friend. And together with fellow Olympians Brian Orser, Tracy Wilson, and Bobby McCall, they took their craft to the professional world and changed its face forever.
Calgary, the Battle of the Bryans, was something where we were competing nation against nation, and we were rivals. But through our rivalry, I can speak only for Brian Orser and myself, we became better friends. And so through Brian Orser, I met Rob McCall, and we all became very good friends. And so when I was asked to do this event right away, there was no hesitation in my mind. And actually, it's about all of the top people setting aside their boundaries, their rivalries, their past rivalries that still people, identify them as, to do this event and help create public awareness so that people understand a disease that's killing many people in your nation and in my nation, and using our friendship to do the best that we can do.
Come sei bella, più bella stasera, Mario. Splende un sorriso di stella negli occhi tuoi blu. Anche se avverso il destino domani sarà, oggi ti sono vicino perché sospirar, non pensare, parlami d'amore, tutta la mia vita sei tu. Gli occhi tuoi belli brillano, fiamme di sogno scintillano. Dimmi che illusione non è, dimmi che sei tutta per me. Gli occhi tuoi belli brillano, fiamme di sogno scintillano. Dimmi che illusione non è, dimmi che sei tutta per me. Parlami d'amore, Mario.
welcome everyone, you know. You would come in as a stranger and he would just make you feel you're part of it since a long time. He's not someone who goes like, who's that? You know, he would be someone, oh, come in, you know, nice to meet you. And then he would just start talking to you and involving him into the whole group, which is really wonderful, I think.
The greatly publicized battles of Calgary seem trivial now in context of Rob McCall's fight with a deadly disease. In 1991, the year of Rob's death, skating seemed secondary to his close friend Brian Orser. And even though Rob made it easier than most, it was the most difficult battle Brian ever faced. But Rob paid great tribute to Orser and friends when he willed them his greatest treasure, his dream. Debbie Wilkes talked with Brian about the message that was left in his care and the man who made this night possible.
When did your friendship with Rob begin?
My friendship with Rob started probably about 15 years ago when we were both at the novice level. And Rob was a single skater to start with. And we were both at the Canadian Championships in 1977. And we used to always joke about how bad his figures were because he came last and I came first in compulsory figures. So that sort of gives you an idea, because I wasn't really noted for having the best figures in the world. So we joked about that right from the very beginning. And then we both started moving to the junior ranks at the same time, and then into seniors. And then some international competitions in between. And then suddenly we're both on the world team, which was in 1981. We both won the Canadian Championships in the senior level at the same time, same year. And for 8 years, we were both Canadian champions, and we both hold that record for the most Canadian titles, him in dance, and for me in singles. And that was sort of something that we used to brag about every once in a while, that we used to hold this title and nobody else in the country had this title. And that was just one more thing to tighten the bond between the two of us.
Was there a particular situation that is your favorite?
I guess one of the things that he was sort of famous for was he gave me the nickname Silver. I mean, after the World Championships in Budapest, you know, we were sitting at a table and he said, you know, pass the salt, but just Silver. And of course, the whole room cracked up, and it was, you know, it was a tough time for me because I once again came second, and I was second at the Olympics, and it was something I was dealing with, and he knew that. But only Rob he could only get away with saying that, and so that was how I got the nickname Silver, just sort of within this very small group of skaters. And so that was a very typical anecdote of his sense of humor. And one time also I read in the newspaper he was quoted as saying, he was commenting on a Skate Canada in 1986, I think it was, and I didn't have a very good skate, and I popped a few jumps and had quite a few doubles, and so he was quoted as saying he hadn't seen so many doubles since last call at Bemelins. And it was a very typical thing, you know, or else he used to comment on my free dance if I didn't, you know, perform that many jumps like I was supposed to. So, and only he could get away with it, and he'd make me laugh.
Was he your best friend?
Yeah. Yeah, Rob was definitely my best friend.
What binds people together like that? I mean, you're on the road a lot. Oh, yeah, sure, skating naturally pulled you together.
It was definitely the skating that pulled us together because we had such similar careers. You know, 8-time Canadian champions, 2 Olympic Games. We both medaled at a lot of those World Championships and the Olympic Games in Calgary. We turned professional at the same time. We had the same manager. We had the same schedule, the same tour itinerary. Tracy, Rob, and I were known by, you know, first names at the airport. You know, and I used to come in and Tracy would do the ticketing because she would be able to get us upgraded to first class. I would do the luggage and get it all tagged, make sure it's going to the place where we're going. And Rob would go get hot dogs. You know, that was sort of his little job, too. And we had this great rapport, and we traveled together for the first 2 years of our professional career. We spent almost every single day together. And it was traveling, and it was in an airport, or it was backstage. And just sort of in that show environment. And we grew a lot as people. Particularly Rob and I grew as people together at the same time through our amateur career and then making that adjustment to professional and being responsible and being young adults.
It's interesting to talk about the time when you turned professional. Your friendship had grown. You were a trio, you and Rob and Tracy. When the final days started to come in Rob's illness, what was your friendship like then?
Our friendship was, once again, as strong as ever when Rob found out that he was sick. And that was when I realized what great friends we were, because we didn't have to work at it. We never had to work at our friendship. he knew he could ask me for anything, and I would do it for him. He didn't have to ask me to be there for him because he knew I would be. So there was, I realized that you don't take friendships for granted, and I learned a lot about, I learned more about Rob through his sickness, and I learned a lot about myself.
As a skater, I think that throughout your skating career, skating is always number one. Has to be. But I have the sense from you that once Rob was sick, your skating took a back seat. Tell me about that.
Well, when Rob first found out that he was sick, I went through this, a ride on this emotional roller coaster, dealing with, well, for selfish reasons, losing my best friend was something that I was dealing with, and also dealing with the fact that he was about to go through a really, really rough time. And our friendship I wasn't taking for granted, and I knew how important it was for me to be there for him. So I subconsciously he took the priority in fulfilling any needs that he would have during the time that he had left. So I put skating it took a back seat just automatically without having to preconceive this idea of putting skating second. And it did. And
it's a tough question to ask, but I'm going to ask it. A lot of the public, maybe, a lot of people who don't know better, criticize Rob for his lifestyle. Do you think what happened was fair to him?
It's unfair that people or society sometimes puts a certain tag on people who come down with AIDS, that they are from a minority, whether they're gay or whether they're drug users. And that isn't the case now. It's a problem in society, period. And this disease is very unfair. And it's something that I would not wish upon anyone. My worst enemy, nobody should ever have to go through what Rob went through, because it takes its toll, and it's humiliating for the person that's going through it. And, Rob really showed to me how much courage he had.
If you could say one last thing to him, what would it be?
I don't know if there's really anything more, because I said it all. And I was really lucky that I was with Rob at the end, at this last couple of months. Yeah, we said it all. There's nothing more to be said. He told me how he felt, and he knew how I felt. And there's nothing more to be said.
You're good friends.
Life is a book that we study. Some of its leaves bring us sigh. There it was written by my buddy. Yeah, we must fall, you and I. about you all through the day, my buddy, my buddy. Nobody quite so true. Miss your voice, touch of your hand, long to know that you understand, my buddy, my buddy, your buddy. Your buddy, busy, you. My buddy.
When you're a little kid and you see somebody say win an Olympic medal or whatever it is, or you know, an astronaut, the first step on the moon, and you think, oh, that would be great, and you start to dream about it. It's something that you feel, but you don't intellectualize. Like I can say for me, for instance, if I was you know, sitting and thinking about me being a teenager and wanting to make the Olympic team, I didn't go over, okay, now what are the chances of me ever actually making the Olympic team, let alone, you know, winning an Olympic medal? And if I start to intellectualize it, well, you know, it wouldn't be there. But a dream is something that you don't think about, you feel. And I guess that's the meaning behind those words.
Your heartland when you're fast asleep, in dreams you will lose your heart and whatever you whisper you keep. Have faith in your dreams, and someday your rainbow will come smiling through. No matter how your heart is grieving, if you keep on believing, the dream that you will come true.
Tonight I am reminded of a story that comes around this time of year every year. A wonderful film called It's a Wonderful Life with Jimmy Stewart. In the story, one point is made perfectly clear, that each life affects the lives of countless others. To lose even one life is tragic. To ignore that loss is unforgivable. Rob McCall touched the lives and hearts of so many. The people that were seen and heard from tonight were special to him, and he to them. They were lucky to have known him. I didn't know Rob McCall, but I wish I would have. Like you, I watched him, I admired his skills, and I've heard so many great stories about him. Just watching him, you knew he loved the ice. He loved to skate, almost as much as he loved to dream. And somewhere out there tonight, Bobby McCall has watched his dream unfold. No doubt he must be smiling and probably dancing with Ginger Rogers.
But the time together through all the years will take